publisher looked at the photos and said 6 words that changed publishing history. "Madonna, this will destroy your career." What she did next made the book sell 1.5 million copies in 3 days and changed pop culture forever. It was June 1992, and Madonna sat in a Warner Books conference room, surrounded by executives who looked like they were going to be sick. Spread across the massive mahogany table were photographs that would either revolutionize or end her career. Madonna, completely naked, tied up with rope. Madonna with multiple partners in scenarios that blurred the line between art and pornography. Madonna reimagining herself as every sexual taboo society tried to hide. Stephen Schraggis, the president of Warner Books, couldn't stop staring at one particular image. His face had gone from professional concern to genuine panic. "Madonna," he finally said, his voice tight, "we can't publish this. This will destroy your career. It will destroy our company. This isn't a book. It's career suicide." Madonna didn't flinch. She'd heard this exact speech from managers, lawyers, publicists, and even friends for the past 6 months. Everyone told her the same thing. "You've gone too far this time." "Good," Madonna replied, her voice calm and ice cold. "If my career can be destroyed by showing the human body and exploring sexuality honestly, then maybe that career deserves to be destroyed." The silence in that room was deafening. To understand why Madonna was willing to risk everything for this book, you have to go back 6 months earlier, to January 1992, when the idea first took shape. Madonna had just finished her controversial Justify My Love video, which MTV banned for being too sexually explicit. Instead of backing down, she'd aired the video on ABC's Nightline, making it a cultural phenomenon. The ban made it more successful than if MTV had just played it. That's when Madonna realized something crucial. Censorship was the ultimate marketing tool. And more importantly, she was tired of letting other people define what was acceptable for her to express. "I've spent 10 years having people tell me what I can and can't do with my body, my image, my sexuality," Madonna told her creative director Stephen Meisel over dinner in New York. "Every music video gets censored. Every outfit gets criticized. Every time I express sexuality on my own terms, I'm called a slut. I'm done playing by their rules." Meisel, one of the most provocative photographers in fashion, leaned forward. "So what do you want to do?" "I want to create something so explicit, so unapologetic, that it can't be censored or edited or watered down. I want to own my sexuality completely. And I want to do it in a medium where I have total control." "A book," Meisel said, understanding immediately. "A book," Madonna confirmed. "No radio stations to refuse to play it. No MTV to ban it. No TV networks to cut scenes. Just pure, unfiltered artistic expression." Over the next 3 months, Madonna and Meisel created something that had never existed in mainstream pop culture. They rented locations in Miami and New York. They hired models and dancers. They staged scenarios that explored BDSM, same-sex relationships, group encounters, and every sexual taboo Madonna could think of. But here's what made it different from pornography. Madonna wasn't trying to titillate or exploit. She was trying to provoke thought, challenge assumptions, and reclaim female sexuality from the male gaze that had always defined it. Every sexual image women see is created for men, by men. Madonna explained to Meisel during one particularly intense shoot. "I want to create sexual images from a female perspective. I want to show that women can be dominant, submissive, playful, aggressive, vulnerable, whatever they want to be, and it's all valid." The shoots were exhausting, provocative, and sometimes uncomfortable even for Madonna, but she never backed down. When crew members expressed concern about certain scenarios, Madonna would remind them, "If this makes you uncomfortable, good. That means we're touching something real." Madonna also did something unprecedented. She financed the entire project herself, $6 million of her own money. That way, no studio, no label, no corporation could tell her what to cut or change. This was her vision. Uncensored and uncompromised. By May 1992, they had the photographs. Now they needed a publisher brave enough to release them. Warner Books seemed like the obvious choice. They were part of the Warner empire that included her record label. But when Madonna and Meisel presented the book to Warner executives, the reaction was immediate and visceral panic. "You can't show genitals," one executive said. "You can't show same-sex encounters," another added. "The bondage images have to go. The group scenes are absolutely out of the question." Madonna listened to every objection with growing fury. This was exactly what she'd been trying to avoid, men in suits telling her what was acceptable for her to express. "Let me be very clear," Madonna said, standing up from the conference table. "I didn't spend $6 million in 6 months of my life to create a watered-down, sanitized version of this book. Every single photograph we took is in this book. Or there is no book." Stephen Schraggis, the Warner Books president, tried a different approach. "Madonna, I'm not trying to censor you. I'm trying to protect you. If we publish this as is, you'll be crucified. Religious groups will protest. Retailers won't stock it. Critics will destroy you. And frankly, it could end your career." This is the moment that defined everything that came after. Madonna could have compromised. She could have removed the most controversial images, toned down the explicit content, made it more palatable for mainstream audiences. That's what everyone expected her to do. That's what every other artist would have done. Instead, Madonna made a decision that would either prove her genius or destroy everything she'd built. "Here's what we're going to do," Madonna said, her voice steady and certain. "We're publishing every single page exactly as I created it. We're wrapping the book in an aluminum cover so people can't flip through it at bookstores. They have to buy it to see it. We're putting a Mylar bag around it like pornography. We're putting a warning label on the cover. We're doing everything possible to make it clear that this is for adults who choose to engage with provocative art." She paused, making eye contact with every executive in the room. "And we're going to price it at $50, which is outrageous for a book. Because I don't want casual buyers. I don't want people who'll be offended. I want people who are ready to engage with sexuality as art, who are willing to be challenged, who understand what I'm trying to do." The executives looked at each other. This was commercial insanity. A $50 book wrapped in aluminum that retailers would refuse to stock. But Madonna wasn't finished. "And here's the most important part. We're releasing it the same day as my new album Erotica. The album explores the same themes as the book: sexuality, power, desire, freedom. They're companion pieces. People who buy the book will buy the album. People who buy the album will want the book. We're creating a cultural moment, not just releasing a product." Stephen Schraggis stared at her. Despite every instinct telling him this was career suicide, he couldn't deny that Madonna had never been wrong about understanding cultural moments. "If we do this," he said slowly, "and it fails, you understand the consequences. You'll be labeled as finished. Washed up. The woman who went too far." Madonna smiled. "I've been hearing that since 1984. Let's find out if they're finally right." Warner Books agreed to publish the book exactly as Madonna wanted, but they demanded one condition: a first printing of only 250,000 copies. They were certain it would bomb. Madonna agreed, knowing they were about to be very wrong. The weeks leading up to the release were orchestrated chaos. Madonna knew that controversy would be her greatest marketing tool, so she fed it carefully. She did interviews, where she defended the book's artistic merit. She appeared on shows where hosts tried to shame her, and she refused to be shamed. She leaked just enough information to make people curious, without revealing too much. Religious groups protested before they'd even seen the book. Conservative commentators called for it to be banned. Feminist groups were divided. Some saw it as exploitation, others as female empowerment. The media couldn't stop talking about it. And Madonna? She loved every second of it. "They're doing my marketing for me," she told her manager. "Every protest, every think piece, every moral panic, it's all making more people curious about what's actually in this book." October 21st, 1992, release day. Bookstores across America that agreed to stock it sold out within hours. The initial print run of 250,000 copies was gone in 3 days. Warner Books had to emergency print another 1 million copies. Within a week, it had sold 1.5 million copies, making it the fastest-selling coffee table book in history. People weren't just buying it, they were talking about it, debating it, analyzing it. exactly as Madonna had intended. But the backlash was also intense. Media refused to play the erotica video. Radio stations banned the song. Critics wrote scathing reviews calling Madonna desperate, finished, a cautionary tale of fame gone wrong. For a moment, it seemed like maybe the critics were right. Maybe Madonna had finally pushed too far. Then something unexpected happened. Sales of erotica. The album started climbing, despite the radio ban. The controversy made people curious. They bought the book, then bought the album. They bought the album, then bought the book. The cultural conversation Madonna had orchestrated was working exactly as she'd planned. More importantly, the book started conversations about sexuality, censorship, and artistic freedom that mainstream America had been avoiding. Was it art or pornography? Where was the line? Who got to decide? Did women have the right to express their sexuality as explicitly as men always had? Madonna had forced these questions into the national conversation, and there was no putting them back in the box. Years later, critics and cultural historians would reassess the sex book. What seemed like career suicide in 1992 came to be understood as a pivotal moment in pop culture. Madonna had used her fame and fortune to create something uncompromising, to challenge societal taboos, and to spark conversations about sexuality that needed to happen. Was it perfect? No. Some images were more provocative than profound. Some scenarios pushed buttons just to push them. But that was part of Madonna's genius. She understood that sometimes you have to shock people to make them think. The sex book taught other artists an important lesson. You can be provocative and strategic at the same time. Madonna didn't just create controversy. She controlled it, directed it, and used it to amplify her message about artistic freedom and female sexuality. Today, that aluminum-wrapped book sells for hundreds of dollars among collectors, not because it's pornography, but because it represents a moment when an artist refused to compromise, bet everything on her vision, and won. Madonna's career didn't end with the sex book. She went on to reinvent herself multiple times, but she never again faced the kind of career-threatening risk she took in 1992. She didn't need to. She'd already proven that she would go as far as necessary to maintain control over her artistic expression. The publisher who said this will destroy your career was wrong. The book didn't destroy Madonna's career, it immortalized it. When asked years later why she took such an enormous risk, Madonna's answer was simple: I was tired of living in a world where women's sexuality was either ignored or exploited by men. I wanted to show that we could own it, express it, celebrate it on our own terms. If that meant risking my career, so be it. Some things are more important than being popular. The lesson isn't that every artist should be as provocative as Madonna. The lesson is that real artistic freedom requires real courage. It requires being willing to risk everything for your vision, to hear this will destroy your career, and respond with I'll take that chance. Madonna took that chance, and she changed pop culture forever. If this story of artistic courage and refusing to compromise inspired you, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Drop a comment about a time you took a risk everyone said would fail, and ring that notification bell. We've got more incredible Madonna stories about the moments she refused to play it safe.